Welcome to the Sci-Fi Diner Classic. This is episode number 20. We've done 20 classic episodes, Miles.
Right. With
some good interviews, and a lot of them have been Battlestar alumni.
Right. Love the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, and you and I have just been fortunate to meet a lot of these actors.
We have, over the years, and a lot of them have been brought to the con. Some of them we just kind of encountered online, and we hooked up with interviews. Mm-hmm. Here's one that we worked very hard to get an interview with. It was Sunday at Shore Leave 2 years ago.
Right.
And 2 years ago, and World Cup was going on, and we ran into Katee Sackhoff in the bar.
We did, and that's, you just kind of felt like you were in an episode of BSG when you see Katee Sackhoff cheering on the World Cup.
Yeah, and Admiral Adama as well.
He was a guest there that same year also. Yes.
And they were both there cheering on. Mm-hmm. And the only time that we had to interview Katee Sackhoff was when?
Halftime, I think.
Yeah, halftime. So we had the amount of halftime, and we sat down with a very distracted Katee Sackhoff. Mm-hmm. But still, it was Katee Sackhoff, right? And, Starbuck, you're sitting next to this lady. She was beautiful in person.
She looked fantastic. I mean, she did give us about 10, 15 minutes of her time.
Yeah,
so we're very grateful for that.
That's kind of stretching a mile. I think it was like around 10 minutes.
Maybe closer to 10,
This might be our shortest Sci-Fi Diner Classic ever, but hey, it's Katee Sackhoff. We got to share it.
We got to hang out with Katee Sackhoff.
Katee Sackhoff. I got to touch her, put my arm around her. That sounds bad, but I got to put my arm around her.
He was posing for a picture, folks.
Right. It was. My camera did work that time. And,
right. This time, yeah.
But it was a good time. Good time to see them. And I guess we have Admiral Adama. We'll be bringing that interview sometime. We didn't do that yet, did we?
We have not re-aired that one, no.
So we will re-air that one. If you haven't heard it yet, the Admiral himself. Mm-hmm. But anyways, here is our interview with Starbuck, Katee Sackhoff, and we hope you enjoy it.
From Battlestar Galactica, and you're listening to Sci-Fi Diner Podcast.
Welcome back to the Sci-Fi Diner Podcast. We hope you enjoyed some of our Star Trek news and our many other bits of news, our movie news that we've had. But we are bringing you a very good, even though it's a very short interview that we had with Katee Sackhoff at Shore Leave 32. Now, John, you're with us. Miles had to leave to go to work. You had a chance to see Katee at the con. What were your thoughts on Katee and what you said and her at the con?
Yeah, Katee was just so personable, and it was so cute because you had this giant room full of 1,000 people who just wanted to hear what she had to say, and she was visibly embarrassed. I mean, this is somebody who's on arguably one of the top sci-fi shows on TV, very famous, recognized on the street all the time, and yet was flustered when presented with 1,000 geeks who wanted to hear what she had to say. I thought that was awesome, but she had some really interesting insights on the ultimate destiny of Starbuck and how that came across and how the producers explained where Starbuck ended up at the end of the series.
I thought one of my greatest moments, and I was in the same session I think that you saw her in, was when she walks out and Edward turns around and does the "So Say We All" thing for her. One of the greatest women of sci-fi. It was just a chilling moment to kind of hear that. In fact, I think I have that clip. I'll probably throw that in here so you can hear it. But that clip of him doing that. But it was arguably she was probably one of the one of the most interesting characters to hear talk about. But I think the other thing was she was also, for us, one of the most difficult characters to track down. Some actors at Shore Leave, like, Edward James and Kevin Sorbo and Catherine Hicks were very accessible. Dominic Keating, they were always at their tables. You always could run up and talk to them. But Tori Higginson and Katee Sackhoff were not there many times. And you could find them if you went up to the bar because they were watching the World Cup at the time, which she, of course, mentioned, and they were mentioning throughout the session there. But she was very hard to get a hold of. We actually ended up interviewing her in the bar.
That's awesome. Yeah, in fact, it was so cool to go up to the bar. On my way out of the con. It was my last few moments at the con. I popped up at the bar to say goodbye to a few people, and there was Eddie Olmos and Katee Sackhoff just sitting there watching the game with with all of the con attendees just cheering just like they were regular people. It was very, very, very cool.
Yeah, they had a couple of bottles of wine opened, and they were going at it. But it was very cool to see him in that sort of setting. It did make it hard to kind of get an interview with her, though. But we are going to bring you this short interview, and she does talk a little bit about Starbuck. She talks about some of the charities that she gets into. So, hey, we hope you enjoy this short interview with Starbuck, Katee Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
The reason I have hope, the great lady of all times. Yeah! So say we all. 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 Spain. Guys have another one to go to Jesus. They're in the room, trust me. Hey! You have courage. How are you, darling? I'm here. Sit down. I'm here just to introduce you and let you answer questions. We've been having a good time.
I'm completely out of breath because I was running into my room. Shit. All right. They almost scored. All right.
Close game, huh?
This is stupid.
0-0.
I know. It's so close. It's so close. Both teams need to slow down a bit. They're playing a little too quick. And
it's really hard. A lot of...
Yeah, there's a lot of... I've never seen a boot to the chest that didn't get a red card, but that's all right. I might be a bit biased right now.
Just a little bit. Well, so Shore Leave, what do you think of Shore Leave? Here?
It's great. I love Maryland. I wish I'd come with my motorcycle, actually, and had a little bit more time to actually spend and go up to Pennsylvania and down to Pennsylvania. Over to yeah, I said up the first time. I knew I was right.
The Amish country. That's where we're from.
Well, that's where I want to go. I hear it's amazing.
Well, my wife
there's some pretty phenomenal farms and things up there that'd just be amazing. Yeah, great bed and breakfast. And I read all about the guy who wrote Sleepy Hollow, where he wrote it about is up towards Pennsylvania. I need to read it again.
Yeah.
I read it in a book, and it's this week-long trips and where you should go on a motorcycle. It's called like Motorcycle in America or something, and he outlays all the trips for you, and it sounds pretty interesting. So.
And you're motorcycling for charity coming up soon.
Yes, October 22nd to the 28th with Trisha Helfer and anyone else who wants to come with us.
Miles is bringing his bike.
No, you should. We're hoping to talk to the guys at Eagle Rider so people they don't have to do the whole ride. They could fly in, join us in Arizona and drop the bike off in Texas so they wouldn't have to bring anything but, a backpack. But the goal is that everyone who, we don't know exactly what it's going to cost yet, but that everyone who participates in the ride gives us some money and tries to raise as much money as they can on their own. And, we'll give the money to the oil spill. Trisha's husband and my ex are from New Orleans, and so we have a lot of family there. So it's really, really affected everybody. And, I think that, if you actually look at the Exxon Valdez and realize that the people who work the spill develop so many health problems afterwards. So it scares me that they're getting college kids to clean up this oil spill.
Yeah,
but it's I think that this is it's an environmental, social, it's an issue and a problem that we will not know the full extent of, and for years to come.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure
It will be.
Right. Yeah, and economical. A lot of people are going to have to move from the Gulf that have worked and lived off the Gulf, and they're going to have to move inland and find new jobs. And if we can't get this fixed, and getting it fixed is a huge problem.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's something that we can even imagine what they're going to have to do to reverse this.
So Bionic Woman, 24, and Battlestar, these are all kind of genre sci-fi shows. What?
¿Qué pasa?
I know.
What happened?
Do you have a draw to sci-fi, or just sort of happen?
I do. I grew up on it. Like I said, I'm not kidding when I said that, my family grew up with 2 channels, and it was Star Trek or, Oregon Public Broadcasting. So, I grew up on sci-fi. The first movies my father showed me were Predators, Lost Boys, and Jaws. So, it's in my blood to do this. And I love it. No, I was like 5. My mom killed him. My sister,
My wife
we watched.
would kill me if I did that.
Yeah. No, we watched, Lost Boys. I'm still scared of the dark. It's just not, you don't do this to a child, but it was done to me, and it turned me into a sci-fi actress, so,
Your choices.
Right, and it has, and I love it, I absolutely love it, so I'm not gonna do something else when I enjoy it.
Now, were you sad that Bionic Woman was cut short?
No, the Bionic Woman pilot was the highest rated and best pilot I've ever seen in my entire life. I think that had they been able to maintain that level of impressiveness throughout the entire series, it would have stayed on the air, and it would have been fun.
I thought the pilot was pretty good.
The pilot was awesome.
Yeah.
Highest rated pilot of all time. It was an amazing pilot, and it fell off. And it's no one's fault. It just happens. It happens all the time. So it just is what it is. But
Yeah. And then there's the SG.
yeah,
Did really well for you. So, when the game's back on.
I was like,
Well, thank you for sitting a few moments with us.
Thank you.
And chatting with us. I know we had you read a bumper earlier. Could you read another one real quickly? And then we'll let you get back to the game.
My boyfriend is Spanish.
Oh, and then that's...
Spanish and Cuban, so...
So that's the interest in the role.
Yeah, I grew up playing soccer. I played from the time I was 3. My dad had me, when I say, stop playing with the boys, the day I had to play for the all-girls soccer team, I was like 13, and I cried forever. And I might have been 12, I don't remember. And so I grew up playing, fell in love with a guy who grew up playing, and his family's from Spain. So and he lived in Spain for years, so you end up supporting your significant other, but at the same time, they're a fantastic team, and they deserve to win.
Well, and it becomes a part of you.
Of course it does. Well, because it's a part of him, and when you live with someone, you're like, I guess it's a part of me now.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting with us.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much. Sorry that I was running.
We were told that you were going to have a crazy schedule, so we didn't know if it would happen.
It's been crazy.
This time.
Well, it was crazy before I made them let me watch this game. We had to shuffle everything around. So I was like, you guys, I'm not missing this game. And they were like, but you didn't tell us. And I was like, I don't know my schedule. Until 2 days ago. I didn't know.
You're my wife's hero.
Albert, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I'll try to do the next character justice. All right, thank you.
Take care.